What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. At this point we're up to episode 18, and I feel like we're at an adequate point to move away from these tools that we have, which aren't bad by any means. Adventure's Toolbox is amazing, but we can actually unify our inventory a little bit and maybe upgrade a couple of things, because we have a good handful of things here. In between episodes, I've been doing a lot of Thaumcraft research, and I also installed and started playing with building gadgets a little bit. I haven't done much with them yet, but once I start using them for anything, I'll let you know, and you'll see kind of everything that's going on there. But the recipes for these are not very difficult, since it's an early on mod. But so far, I'm very impressed. So I want to get started by making a couple of new tools, and these tools are going to be power-based, which I think is a perfectly reasonable thing to look at. So in order to do that, we want to get an energetic infuser to charge our tools, and this is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to need a couple of gears. We're going to need tin, 2 copper, lead, and that's pretty straightforward. And there we are, energetic infuser. So this guy's pretty straightforward to make, as you saw, so why don't we go and get it set up, and you can kind of get an idea of what it does. So we can set it up over here along our normal line of machinery, and this guy's going to accept power. Now the first thing I want to do is make an augment for it, so now we can come over here and knock both of these out, and I'm just going to disable all sides. So now this guy can charge any RF-based items very quickly. Without that upgrade, it's basically useless. So that's why I figured let's do it now rather than wait and then have to deal with super slow machinery. So what I want to make is from Thermal Innovations, at Thermal Innovation, and I want to look at the drill, the flux bore. So this flux bore is pretty straightforward. We're going to just do flux bore. That's easier to type out. So we want to kind of get started with this guy. You can color it, and you can charge it and upgrade it, of course. So if I wanted to upgrade between the different tiers here, you can see that that's not a very difficult process at all. So I'm thinking we should probably get up to at least Signalum, maybe. At the very least, definitely this tier, the reinforced tier. But we'll get started with the basic, because that's obviously where we need to begin. Our very first flux bore. Now you'll notice this guy can tunnel, and it stores 40,000 RF. That's not really a lot, and there's a couple of things that we can do with that, but let's focus on the flux bore for now. So right now we can upgrade our flux bore with Invar. So now we can come over here and upgrade this guy to the next tier, and then to the last tier we can afford. We're going to need 3 diamonds. Alright, not bad. But this guy holds 240,000 RF. It can be enchanted just like normal, which is useful because we'll probably just use this again. Insight efficiency. We might not use mending on this per se, but definitely everything else, fortune 3, unbreaking 3, all on a flux bore sounds pretty great. But we need a way of charging this, so why don't we look into a flux capacitor? We can do a couple of different ones, but I like these because they're baubles. This is an actual backpack. And there's a capacitor pack, which is another backpack type thing, but they both take up your chest plate slot, which I'd like to keep for now. So I'm thinking we'll probably just stick with the reinforced, just like usual. Because once again, it's just an easy one to do. So why don't we get started with this guy? We're going to need lead and sulfur. I have both of these, just not on me. I'll grab a decent bit of lead just to be sure. And what this is going to let us do is store extra power that can come with us anywhere we go. So it looks like we should be capable of going all the way up to that tier with no problem. See, this is why I keep on pooling all these resources between episodes. So now that we have these two that are going to take our power up, we can go ahead and charge them up in the flux capacitor, or in the energetic infuser. You'll see that drained almost immediately, but that's okay. This is actually charging pretty quickly. If we come out here to our capacitor bank, you'll notice that this is actually going to have a net loss for a little while, which is perfectly reasonable. I mean, we're charging pretty rapidly right now. So we can go ahead and queue up our next item by just putting it here. That way when this one gets fully charged, it'll move here, and this will move here. In the meantime, I want to work on another thing, and we can just take a shortcut. We have our nice sword, And there's a couple of other options that we could go for with a sword if we wanted to, but I personally want to go with the more fun route. If you ask me, it's more fun. I haven't used Ender IO in a long time, so we're going to look at making the Ender Mark II, I think. I haven't actually figured out how to make this. So this is just Endstone, Dark Steel, Obsidian, and Dark Steel we're going to need to make anyway. So why don't we get started with the Dark Steel. Now, if we run over here to our induction smelter, we should be able to make normal steel. Now, you might be wondering, how are we going to make the reinforced steel? Let's see, what is it called? End steel ingot. How am I going to make end steel ingot, huh? Well, I can make, so it'll be more obsidian, no big deal, and I can make end stone. If we look at the recipes here, there is a recipe in fluid transposers, which we haven't made yet, but we can make one real quick. So we're going to need a fluid transposer and a magma crucible. So we need magma crucible, and there we go, fluid transposer. So once again, another recipe relatively easily knocked out. And we can toss these over here next to each other. So the reason I made both of these is because they kind of go hand in hand. The magma crucible will take an item and melt it down into a fluid, and the fluid transposer will take a fluid and either insert it into an item or kind of infuse an item even sometimes. And that's what we're going to be looking at now. So if we look at end stone or end steel ingot, do both. So if we look at end stone, then the end stone is going to be a fluid transposer recipe filling from liquid ender, or resonant ender, which is liquefied ender. So you get 250 per ender pearl. So essentially we're just going to need 2 pieces of sandstone and 2 ender pearls to get end stone. So the magma crucible does take a little bit of time, and it does take a decent amount of power. So as you amplify the speed, it will start to use a ton of power. So I'm just warning you now, don't underestimate the amount of power that that thing is capable of using. In the meantime, our dark steel is already ready, and we can go grab the obsidian we need. So far, so good. How are we doing over here on endstone? We have our 2 pieces, so now we can come over here and make up our end steel ingots. Alright, there's our 2 end steel ingots. So let's make this top tier sword from Ender IO. I'm pretty excited. So let's compare before I even craft this. We're looking at 9 attack damage. This guy has 10.5, so we're already pretty close, and that's without even any enchantments. We can apply enchantments to this, and we're going to have to. So just prepare yourself now. As this stands right now, this is just a plain sword. There's nothing special about this. This will take the same amount of this takes damage just like usual. It doesn't do anything special. It's not electronically chargeable. This is just a sword. We have to apply features to it using the anvil. So once we get a vibrant crystal, we can move on to our next step. So we need to get vibrant crystal. And the vibrant crystal is just an emerald surrounded by these vibrant steel nuggets, or vibrant alloy nuggets. So, let's see, vibrant crystal, boom. Now this guy is going to cost a few levels to apply. It looks like 4 levels, so let's go ahead and grab a bunch of XP. Just because the process that we're going to be going through today is apply XP to this thing. A lot. So now you'll notice that this guy has the empowered trait. So you look at the old tooltip, it just says Ender IO, hold shift. Now you see it's empowered and it has a durability bar. And as you can see, as soon as we put it in our inventory, it's suddenly taking in power. And it's got +1 attack damage and plus 0.04 attack speed. So it actually, like the speed on this is pretty quick compared to a normal sword. So that's already a pretty decent boost there. I'm going to go and put these guys away. I'm messing up all the things here. There we go. We can go ahead and put away our hammer. We don't have a solution for the axe yet, so we're going to keep our axe around for now. But the hammer is done away with now that we have this guy. We can change the modes 3x3 or just single block. And as we upgrade this, we can get more modes. So we can also upgrade our ender even more. So you notice now we have the basic capacitor upgrade, which will double our power a little bit. Well, not quite double. It goes from 100 to 150,000. We also have the ability to apply an ender crystal, which is on my list of things that I want to do eventually, but I don't have what I need to do that yet. Mostly the patience. But we can start looking at the capacitor. So basic should get us a decent amount of power. And remember, we have that capacitor. That's how the sword already started charging. We have that flux capacitor in our bobble slot. So this sword is already getting infused a little bit. And if you notice, it also has this kind of cool animation, which I like. How it kind of fades purple. So this is going to cost us 6 levels. No problem. And now we can start enchanting. So we had all of our enchanted stuff over here, and we'll go ahead and disenchant that too. So I'm going to run through all of this stuff and start disenchanting. It's going to take ages, so I'm not even going to do it on camera this time. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. This time, I'm definitely not. It's just something you've already seen a bunch, and it's kind of pointless. So I'll get back once we have the books that we want. Alright, so I have everything disenchanted now. So we're going to start with this enchantment, which is going to put Sharpness 5, Looting, Insight, and Mending. It's going to take 16 levels, alright. And now we can go ahead and apply these two. Mending, Sharpness, blah, 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 blah. It's going to make it 12 attack damage and decent speed, so that's definitely very nice. Go ahead and grab a little bit more experience out of this guy so that we can be ready for the drill here. Now, I don't know that mending will go on there, but that's okay. I forgot to remove mending, but that's whatever. We can get mending pretty easily. And that's going to be another 16 levels. Boom. It's going to get us insight, efficiency, fortune, and unbreaking. So the only thing that we're not really getting from that is holding, which I don't really care. But on that note, we can add holding to our flux capacitor if we just enchanted it normally here. So we have soulbound, comma, dot, who knows, like we don't know. We'll do a level 30 enchant, because why not? And that'll give us soulbound and shimmer and holding 4. Shimmer makes it... What mod adds shimmer? Because I'm going to straight up delete that mod. Wow. That tooltip is... Okay, but in all seriousness, I'll leave Ender IO for now, but I will probably be pestering the heck out of the authors. Okay, regardless, I got all the other crap off of there, and in fact, you know, bye. Just delete that crap using the Quark shortcut. So now we have a holding flux capacitor, which gives it 4 times the storage, I think, or something like that. We have holding 4 regardless, so that means we can store even more. So while that's recharging, I want to make the last missing piece on our electric tool set. I've kind of been wanting one of these for a long time because they're kind of cool. Now we just need to transfer our enchantments over from the axe of ours. Silk Touch I don't really need, so we'll look into if I want to bring that or not. So let's see how many levels it'll cost to put this guy. 7? Okay. So we'll combine these two, and that's going to, of course, ignore the efficiency. And upgrading that to efficiency 4 is going to cost 5 levels. And adding Unbreaking 3 will cost 6. And there we go. That's one dang good little lumber axe that we now have. So this guy, the reason I've still put lumbering on it is because in all honesty, while it's a cool effect, the V effect just has tunneling in 3x3, which I don't find very useful. It's still not a whole tree. You know, you might want to think it is, but don't know any 3x3 trees in my opinion. So we can come over here to an area that I don't aesthetically care about too badly because it's already kind of as far as the aesthetics go. And try cutting down something like this silverwood log. And boom, there we go. And that took so much time because the drill had absolutely no charge. I completely forgot to charge it. That was my fault, and duh. If that was, or rather I said drill, the saw. If that was the drill, it probably wouldn't have broken any of the blocks, but you can still punch with your fist down a log, so it could just be that allowed that to work, which is more than likely. This still isn't done. It's getting there, but I'm willing to bet that at this point, this guy is drained or close to drained. Yep, drained. So right now, we're literally pushing probably at the rate that we're creating is probably what we're pushing at. So that's fine. I'll just leave that for now. I don't need this to be done in any urgent hurry. So, you know, it can charge when it charges. But right now, you see, of course, the flux saw immediately recharged. Now, the reason I put mending on the on the ender here, which I forgot to mention, is that in all honesty, mending is kind of a particular enchantment on here because it can still take normal durability. So it maintains two different durabilities. There's just the obvious armor durability, or rather, there's the obvious like damage durability, and there's also power. So power is going to help supplement the normal durability, but sometimes it will also take normal durability damage as well. So you can see 60% of the damage is absorbed by power, so for each flux capacitor we put on there, that percentage is improved, but it never gets beyond 95%. You can also use the flux saw to shear sheep. It does harm them by half a heart when you do this, so just be warned that it's not a good idea to do this a whole bunch, but if you do it once or twice on a sheep, you're okay. But, you know, again, don't skip out on shears. If you make a sheep farm, you're going to be very sad to determine that they will all die at some point. So now let's see, now that we have this thing charged, let's see what that efficiency looks like on here. Yeah, that's more like it. And of course, this thing doesn't use any of the swinging animations. It just does. I mean, you can do this, but that doesn't really count. It does this really cool, like animation. So you see how there's a spinning animation that goes away. And the drill does the same thing, so as you left click, it'll actually do that. So let's go try the drill out real quick. It doesn't really matter where, so this will work. I'll set it to area 3x3 so that you can see 3x3 mode. Again, doesn't do any swinging or anything, which is really neat. And then if you just do single block, or you could do tunnel 1x2, so if you just want to do a strip mine, you could do a strip mine, and this guy doubles up as a shovel as well. So that's why I got rid of the shovel. It's because I don't need it anymore, really. The downside is if I need to break gravel, I'll be in trouble. But I feel like sooner or later we'll be no longer in need of gravel. We can make some machinery that'll handle that. It'll be a bit of a process, but still. So yeah, I think that that's actually kind of a pretty good point to wrap up with our tool stuff. So let me see what we may want to work on next and kind of look into other stuff that we can possibly do. I might go ahead and upgrade the ender to the last couple of bits here. So I think the last thing that I want to do this episode is a little bit advantageous to us and also a little bit ahead of our league, just ever so slightly, but I think we can squeeze through it and kind of get our way to it. If you haven't figured it out, I want to make a jetpack. So jetpacks are cool. They let you fly. They let you fall to your death. And the reason is that this Cloud Stepper ring, its functionality has changed in the latest version of Thaumcraft, or the latest versions of Thaumcraft, and I don't like this falling effect. I don't care for it. It doesn't do anything for my speed for running around, so why keep it on if it's just going to cause this rather annoying falling effect? So I'm going to toss it down here. I've also moved all of the tool type items into this chest. That way we don't have to take up all that space upstairs. We can just keep it all down there as kind of like a backup arsenal if we ever need it. So this chest is a little bit more freed up than it was. I guess I should have moved that down there too. Whatever. We'll get to it in a minute. So, the jetpack. We're going to have to start at leadstone or conductive. It depends on which route we want to go. Conductive, this steel, or this quadruplet here is all linked together through the Ender IO route of items. And this tier set right here is all linked through the Thermal Foundation and Expansion set of items, which I think would be more fun to do. So I'm going to do Leadstone, go up to Hardened, and maybe even Reinforced. I think we should be able to do that. It gets a little bit hairy, so there's going to be a lot of skipping and cutting, and it's going to be fun for me to edit for sure. But, you know, just kind of thinking that that might be something cool to do. Alright, so we can probably craft up this real quick. If I just make 2 of these, we can go through and make 2 of these. to which we can make 2 of these. No, we're still missing something. What are we missing? Ah, this. We want 2 of those, and now we want 2 of these. There we go. So I think at this point we can make the leadstone jetpack. Very good. So this is the lowest tier jetpack. There's not a lot that we can really do with that yet. I mean, we can, but not a ton. Now, I made some invar. I don't know if I'm going to have enough here, so we're going to find that out, I guess. So for the hardened, we're going to want another basic. This is why I grabbed all this stuff. We want the hardened. And now for this, we also want these guys. So that's going to be copper gears. We're going to need 8. Let's go and peek ahead here, too, and figure out what gear we're going to need there. Invar. We're going to just need to make some Invar, I'm guessing. Make a couple of gears for there and start alloying some Invar together. While we're here, we'll go ahead and grab this Invar. And we needed 2 of the Invar gears as well for the tier above us. So we'll go ahead and get that going. Alright, so now if we look at this tier, we're going to need these guys. We're going to need 2 of these. And I think if I remember correctly, we'll probably end up needing, yep, 2 of these. So let's take a look. We need, the dynamos all look the same to me, so I have to click specifically on the right one in the recipe, or else we might be in trouble. And then this guy into these, it's going to require some hardened flux ducts. Well, I think I might have some of those as well. Yes, I do. So we can make that. What am I missing? Oh, these, which are in my inventory. There we are. And so now we can make the hardened jetpack. And let's see, the last step at this point is to just skip all the way up to the reinforced jetpack. And in fact, we can type reinforced jetpack so that we don't have to see all the different tiers. So that's going to require all the intermediate tiers of capacitor, including the nicest one, which means we need to get some quartz smelted up as well. And let's make sure we don't need it anywhere else, because we very well may. See, we're going to need some destabilized redstone buckets as well. So let's grab about 20 redstone. And I've got 2 buckets that are empty, so we can go through this. Let's see, we needed, let me just double check. We need 2, and then we need these. Now that's going to be an interesting one. Not really that bad, but we need to grab 12. And let's grab some extra redstone. I don't remember how much. Each redstone in a magma crucible creates 100, and to fill a flux duct requires 200. And each recipe with these creates how many empties? 6. So we need 12. Okay, sorry, math. So let's come over here. Let's just start by tossing all of this redstone, this half stack, into here. We'll put the 2 buckets in for now and start acquiring the resources that we've been working towards so far. We have our electrum. We're going to need to make some fused quartz, because we could use hardened glass, but that requires obsidian, which I have much less of than I do quartz. So fused quartz it is. We are going to use a little bit of this to make these. We haven't used these before. These are redstone energy flux ducts. These are a tier above the hardened ones that we've been using lately. And so, in the meantime, we don't need a whole lot of redstone to fill these, so we can use that to our advantage. Another thing we can use to our advantage is that I already have made, on accident I think, this extra upgrade. And while we don't need to use any augments with it yet, we can still apply it to the magma crucible to make it slightly faster, because you'll see it'll use more RF, and by using more RF it can therefore increase the processing speed for us. So we no longer need more. That should be enough for the bulk of this recipe. You see it just takes 4 or 2, and we need 2 of these, so 4 it is. And at this point we should be left with, we'll go and let the rest of it process, but I'm going to go ahead and prioritize the buckets first. 1 bucket. And you know what? We'll go ahead and get everything ready over here so that I don't just have to sit around and wait. Make sure that if I'm missing anything, it's done. So let's see, we wanted these. If I toss all of this in here, can I craft it? No, because I need to make this, which means I need to make this. 2 of those. 2 of these, but I'm missing the invar. There. Oh, nope, I'm missing something else. These. 2 of these. There we go. And now, can I make 1 of these? I need 2 of these. There we go. So now, we should be good to go for the second one. I just wanted to make sure we had everything already. There's the second one. And we should be able to finally upgrade this guy with that fused quartz in my inventory. Just do that. There we are. And lastly, this guy, which we have to put these in by hand for now. Okay, that did craft. It just ghosted out of my inventory. So this guy is actually going to charge it, which is cool. And we can put it on. Should still be charging, which is really nice. I'm really glad. So now, if I do H, nothing happens. If I do Shift H, it enables or disables hover mode. So our hover mode is not permanent by any means, but it helps. So, yep, there we go. We have some flight. It is charged based off of this flux pack over here, right? Or this flux capacitor. But it can also be enchanted, which is nice. So let's enchant it real quick since we're already pretty far along. And let's see what we get. Oh, can you not enchant these anymore? Maybe you can't enchant them. Can I anvil them? Is a question that I'm curious about. Oh, you know what? I know what I need to do. Before we call it a draw, what we want to do is we want to put some plating on this. And the plating is a very simple process. We just want to start out with the lowest tier plating and move our way up. So we have the simple, then we need bronze. So the reason we're doing this is if you notice when I put this on, it actually provides absolutely no armor defense for me, which is not ideal. And I don't know if this is also what's prohibiting me from enchanting. I don't actually for sure know this, so we're going to find out, I guess. Because at some point you could enchant them. I remember this very, very clearly. So I don't know if they just haven't been able to re-implement it yet, or just didn't feel like it was balanced. I don't really care. If I can't enchant it, it's not the end of the world, but I absolutely need to do this. Alright, so now all we have to do is apply this plus this equals this with plus 7 armor. So that actually gives me more armor than I had before. And we're going to see if this can be enchanted. Nope, still no enchantments. The last thing I want to try before I give up is unbreaking, maybe. And I would probably want somewhere around here, I'm sure I have protection. Not just fire protection, but normal protection would be cool. Imperishable. Protection 2. I have protection on here, so if I decide I want it bad enough, I can get it back. So let's see what happens if I use an anvil. No, and oh. So protection can be applied just with an anvil. So let me go strip my protection off of the old chest plate that I had, and I will be back in just a bit. Alright, so we should somewhere in here have protection 4. Costs 4 levels of experience, so let's go up here and preserve our XP, so that way we're not just wasting it all. Let's see, 5. Perfect. Protection 4. So now we'll get some bonus protection from that. Not a whole bunch, but it'll definitely help. We can also do particles, I believe, unless that's been removed for now. I don't know if that's actually still a thing. So we can do rainbow particles, no particles. So that's just if we find that these particles get annoying. We'll see about doing that maybe, because the rainbow particles are really cool. But until then, I am pretty happy with that. You can see the model kind of isn't the perfect combination with the backpack, but honestly it makes sense, so I don't really argue it that much. And you can see our fuel levels dropping just ever so slightly from where the flux capacitor isn't super duper keeping up. I mean, it does every now and then, but it's not the best. So is this flight exactly? No, but it does at least help. So we can go ahead and kind of play with it some. You'll see that if I fall too far, it'll activate for me automatically. And yeah, so honestly, this is a really cool kind of midway alternative to having full-on flight. Again, not completely, but it's been a while since I've had a jetpack. So this is really fun to be able to just kind of use a jetpack for the first time in probably a year and a half, to be honest. I've usually just jumped straight to creative flight or some other methodology. So doing the intermediate jetpack step is really quite cool. So anyways, this episode has been more than productive in my opinion, and has definitely gone on long enough. So sorry, I'm pretty sure that even after editing and trimming, it will go far over my usual 30-minute limit. So I apologize. I'll see you guys in the next episode.